Music is often called a universal language, but have you ever wondered how humanity figured out how to write it down? Unlike words, which could be written with letters, or images, which could be captured in pictures, music required its own unique system to preserve its essence. Without such a system, we might not have Beethoven's symphonies or today's chart-topping hits. So who should we thank for this invention? Let's journey through the fascinating history of music notation and meet the trailblazers who turned sound into symbols. Welcome to our channel, where we uncover the stories behind everyday ideas that shaped our world. Long before anyone considered writing music, people were already making it. Ancient civilizations, from Mesopotamia to Egypt, crafted instruments, sang, and passed melodies down through oral tradition. But this meant that songs were memorized and transmitted by memory alone. Imagine trying to recall an entire piece of music without Spotify or a sheet of notes. It would have led to plenty of creative improvisations along the way. As cultures became more sophisticated, so did their need for consistency in music. Religious ceremonies, royal gatherings, and theatrical performances required a certain uniformity. You couldn't have one choir singing 3 different versions of the same hymn. This demand for precision created the foundation for notation. The earliest known attempts to record music stretch back more than 4,000 years. In ancient Mesopotamia, scribes etched markings onto clay tablets. Among these were the Hurrian hymns, are the oldest known melody in the world. It was written around 1400 BC and offered instructions on how to play certain notes on a lyre. It wasn't sheet music in the modern sense, but it represented a vital first step. The Greeks later took the idea further. Philosophers such as Pythagoras and Aristophanes studied the mathematical nature of sound and devised their own system of notation, using letters and symbols to represent pitches. It was still incomplete and lacked clear indications of rhythm, but it was an early step toward creating a structured language of music. If there is one figure who deserves recognition as the father of modern music notation, it is Guido of Arezzo, an 11th century Benedictine monk. Guido was not only a man of faith, but also a keen innovator. Frustrated with the inefficiency of teaching chants purely by memory, he sought a better way to help singers learn. His great breakthrough was the 4-line staff. For the first time, singers had a visual map of pitch. Notes placed on specific lines or spaces showed clearly whether a sound should be higher or lower. Guido also introduced a method of using syllables, ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la, to help singers memorize melodies more easily. This system, the ancestor of today's solfege, will sound familiar to anyone who has ever practiced with do, re, mi. His innovations were nothing short of revolutionary. They accelerated the learning process, ensured accuracy and preservation, and quickly spread throughout medieval Europe, cementing Guido's reputation as the father of modern music notation. Still, his system was only the beginning. Over the following centuries, notation continued to evolve. By the 13th century, composers began adding symbols to indicate rhythm and note duration, which allowed for increasingly sophisticated compositions, and eventually gave rise to the rich polyphony of the Renaissance. By the 16th century, the 5-line staff that we still use today became standard. Composers such as Palestrina and Monteverdi used it to create works that were performed across Europe, and the invention of the printing press soon allowed sheet music to spread more widely than ever before. It is easy to overlook music notation, but it stands as one of the most transformative inventions in history. Without it, the works of Bach, Mozart, and countless others might have been lost to time. Music notation acted as a bridge between composers and performers, across generations and across continents. It also democratized music. Before notation, you had to be physically present to hear a melody. With notation, music could travel beyond borders, be preserved in books, and reach listeners far away. In our own age, digital tools have reshaped notation again. Software such as Finale and Sibelius allows composers to write and share their works with unprecedented ease. Guitar tablature, chord charts, and simplified systems still trace their roots back to the principles Guido established nearly 1,000 years ago. Meanwhile, some avant-garde composers even use graphic scores, abstract visuals instead of traditional notes, to guide performers. This shows us that music notation, like music itself, is never static. So did Guido of Arezzo invent music notation single-handedly? Not quite. He built upon the ideas of ancient civilizations and early medieval practices, but his contributions transformed those scattered efforts into a structured system that has endured for centuries. Guido did not set out to revolutionize the world. He simply wanted to teach monks to sing in tune. Yet his innovations permanently changed how we experience and share music. It is also worth remembering that Western staff notation is not the only way to preserve sound. In India, the ancient system of sargam, similar to solfege, has been used for centuries to teach and record ragas. In China, the numerical system known as jianpu remains popular for both traditional and modern music. These examples remind us that while music is universal, the ways we write it down reflect the creativity of different cultures. Music notation is more than a practical tool. It captures the intangible, turning fleeting vibrations into something permanent and shareable. Whether you are sight-reading a Bach fugue or following guitar chords in a pop song, you are part of a tradition that stretches back thousands of years. And to think, it all began with a monk, a set of lines, and the dream of making music easier to learn. Behind every dot and line lies a story of curiosity, persistence, and the enduring power of music.